Hi and welcome to my desk. It's a little bit messy. I'm totally dismantling my Christmas book. It is so beautiful. I've been ripping out a lot of things. Instead of using the sticker letters for, like a Christmas calendar, I thought, you know what? I can use them as the date letters for my Midori, my faux Midori. It looks so beautiful, so look. I only got until 24, so I had to wing it with the last days. But look how beautiful my January is going to be with the golden stickers from this sticker book. And then the February, I used the green ones. So yay! And also the washi. Oh, I'm having a party with that Christmas book. And then I am working a little bit in my folder. I assembled all the small boxes from this book. I think I'm gonna put candies inside of it and then just put it in my tree. You know, just tuck them into the branches, and hopefully my son will, chase them. I don't know. Maybe he's too old for that. Anyway, I'm working on my Christmas December file folder, and I sent out Christmas cards. Not so many, only 6 or 7 cards this year, and this is what I drew. So I just wanted to draw that to my December folder as to remind me about it. And then I just watched Colleen's stream where she showed us how to do a Christmas tree. Look at my tree. Look how cute it is. You simply just fold it from magazine. So please go watch Colleen's stream for today if you want to make a tree like this. It's super easy, and it was, like she said, very therapeutic to just sit and do it while watching the stream. But anyway, that's not the reason why I turned on the camera. You see, I was just sitting here painting. This is inspired by Miranda Watson's Christmas cards, where she just took some ornaments. And when I saw her painting the ornaments, I was thinking, oh, what a fabulous excuse to use your Paul Rubens shimmery paint. So that's what I've been doing while I was watching Mary's stream, right? Mary started telling a Christmas tale from Hans Christian Andersen about the little match girl, and she didn't manage to finish because she's off to Keisha's creation, because Keisha is having an auction right now. So I was thinking she stopped in the middle of the storytelling. So I just was thinking, oh, I gotta read that story because I forgot how it plays out, Maybe you guys are thinking the same. So this is just me telling the rest of the story, but I'm gonna start from the start. It's about a Christmas story written from Hans Christian Andersen, and it's super sad, but I don't know why it has become a very lovable Christmas tale, because frantically, honestly, it's like really sad. But let's give it a go. Here we go. The Little Match Girl by Hans Christian Andersen. It was so terrible cold. Snow was falling, and it was almost dark. Evening came on, the last evening of the year. In the cold and gloom, a poor little girl, bareheaded and barefoot, was walking through the streets. Of course, when she had left her house she had had slippers on. But what good have they been? They were very big slippers, way too big for her, for they belonged to her mother. The little girl had lost them running across the road, where 2 carriages had rattled by terribly fast. One slipper she had not been able to find again, and a boy had run off with the other, saying he could use it very well as a cradle some day when he had children of his own. And so the little girl walked on her naked feet, which were quite red and blue with the cold. In an old apron she carried several packages of matches, and she held a box of them in her hand. No one had bought any from her all day long, and no one had given her a cent. Shivering with cold and hunger, she crept along, a picture of misery. Poor little girl! The snowflake fell on her long fair hair, which hung in pretty curls over her neck. In all the windows lights were shining, and there was a wonderful smell of roast goose, for it was New Year's Eve. Yes, she thought of that. In a corner formed by two houses, one of which projected farther out into the street than the other, she sat down and drew up her little feet under her. She was getting colder and colder, but did not dare to go home, for she had sold no matches, nor earned a single cent, and her father would surely beat her. Besides, it was cold at home, for they had nothing over them but a roof through which the wind whistled, even though the biggest cracks had been stuffed with straws and rags. Her hands were almost dead with cold. Oh, how much one little match might warm her! If she could only take one match from the box and rub it against the wall and warm her hands. She drew one out. How it sputtered and burned! It made a warm bright flame, like a little cradle, and she held her hands over it, but it gave a strange light. It really seemed like the little girl as if she was sitting before a great iron stove with shining brass knobs and brass cover. How wonderful the fire burned! How comfortable it was! The youngster stretched out her feet to warm them too. Then the little flame went out, the stove vanished, and she had only the remains of the burnt match in her hand. She then struck another match against the wall. It burned brightly, and when the light fell upon the wall it became transparent like a thin veil, and she could see through it into a room. On the table a snow-white cloth was spread, and on it stood a shining dinner service. The roast goose steamed gloriously, stuffed with apples and prunes. And what was still better, the goose jumped down from the dish and waddled along the floor with a knife and fork in its breast, right over to the little girl. Then the match went out, and she could only see the thick, cold wall. She lighted another match. Then she was sitting under the most beautiful Christmas tree. It was much larger and much more beautiful than the one she had seen last Christmas through the glass doors of the rich merchant's home. Thousands of candles burned on the green branches, and colored pictures like those in the print shop looked down at her. The little girl reached both her hands towards them, but then the match went out. The Christmas light mounted higher. She saw them now as bright stars in the sky. One of the stars fell down, forming a long line of fire. "Now someone is dying," thought the little girl, for her old grandmother, the only person who had loved her, and who was now dead, had told her that when a star is falling down, a soul went up to God. She rubbed another match against the wall. It became bright again, and in the glow the old grandmother stood clear and shining, kind and lovely. "Grandma!" cried the child. "Oh, take me with you. I know you will disappear when the match is burned out. You will vanish like the warm stove, the wonderful roasted goose, and the beautiful big Christmas tree." And she quickly struck the whole bundle of matches. for she wished to keep her grandmother with her, and the matches burned with such a glow that it became brighter than daylight. Grandmother had never been so grand and beautiful. She took the little girl in her arms, and both of them flew in brightness and joy above the earth, very, very high, and up there was neither cold, nor hunger, no fear, 'cause they were with God. But in the corner, leaning against the wall, sat the little girl, with red cheeks and smiling mouth, frozen to death on the last evening of the old year. The New Year's sun rose up, a little pathetic figure. The child sat there, stiff and cold, holding the matches, of which one bundle was almost burned. She wanted to warm herself, the people said. No one imagined what beautiful things she had seen, and how happily she had gone with her grandmother into the bright new year. Oh my God. This was the tale from Hans Christian Andersen called The Little Match Girl. Isn't it sad? It's one of Mary's best fairy tales, and she started reading it out loud on her stream just an hour ago, and then she had to interrupt herself and go because she wanted to stop streaming, and she just left us hanging there. So I hope that you enjoyed watching me painting these Christmas ornaments while reading out this fairy tale, so we all could get the happy ending of it, if you can call it a happy ending. So yeah. The Christmas bulbs that I am decorating, I'm using the shimmery paint from Paul Rubens, and you should try it out. It don't take a lot to make it look like a million. So thanks for listening along.